Good morning. So a couple of people have asked about the cattle panel arches that I have growing my squash. This is actually a watermelon. I'm going to have to get supported because the other one's down here. So I actually used hog panels, which are not quite as wide as cattle panels. So they come in different widths, or I should say heights, and they come in 16-foot lengths. So depending on how tall you are, this one has plenty of headspace for me at 5'5". And then to secure them, put your T-post in. I took several different colors of Rust-Oleum paint and painted the T-post in just different colors. That one's hard to see, but it's a light green. Got a purple one over there. There's a yellow one here. Another purple. And different color teal green. Some are red, pink. I have them all different colors. These, I believe, are going to be... I think I planted tiger melons instead of Kajari melons this year. So they're not... So I do have those. I'll go over the netting here in a minute. So with the cattle panels, you want at least 2 T-posts, usually, 6 to 8 inches in on either side from the edge. You want your cattle panel to be on the inside of your arch, and you would normally have 2 more T-posts on this side. The way my garden is here on this edge, I just put it into the side of my fencing, and they're pretty much jammed down up against the fencing. Some of them are in between the fencing, and I do have railroad ties in here that we use for a base around the perimeter of the garden. We have company, got little pollinators going here. So, and to secure your T-posts, back over here, you just use your regular T-post clips, and they'll go on either side. And you don't need the special tools or anything. You can just use a pair of pliers, hook, spin, and they just will secure. You can do as many as you want. I just have 1 on these. I believe these are just 4 or 5 foot T-posts, depending on your arch and everything. You can go, as wide as you want or as tall as you want. And like I said, sometimes you got to keep track of your fruits that are coming in, whether you want them to come down inside. I have some that are laying on top. I think some of these squash here are not quite ready to harvest by the looks of the edge here. These will get real woody, and then they will be ready to harvest. And here's the snake gourds coming down through. I've had to move some so they do come on the inside. This is mostly that. Somehow I got a cucumber over here. Not sure about that one, but like I said, I planted stuff in here this year pretty thick due to the fact last year nothing grew. I had hardly any canopy on my arches last year. That's all it is for the cattle panel arches. I do have 3 in here. I had 3 different arches. I have from here over here is a space. You can walk through it, or I plant herbs as companion planting down along the bottom. That's going to help a little bit with your pest. So with your companion planting, depending on what you're planting, you can plant stuff down in between on the bottoms. And I just come through on this one. I don't use the rototiller on this part of the garden. I just come through and stir it up a little bit, add some more compost on top every year. Like I said, these things will go all over. There's another watermelon that got beat up by the wind. I'm probably gonna have to take that one off because it's gonna get too big to be supported. Now when these kind of get big, if you're worried about them being too heavy for it to hold, I use bird netting is what I use. I just cut it in strips and make hammocks and stuff for them. You can see on this bigger squash here. Kind of hard to see. I just tie it up on either side, and that helps support them a little bit. Gives them time to grow. That's about the only one I've done. I got another one here with the bird netting. Just a little support so it doesn't fall off, because some of these squashes will get pretty heavy. This one's kind of being supported by one of the vines here, so I don't have to worry about that one. And some are on the outside. So got a little carried away planting on these. I have so many of these squash. This is a different kind and still haven't got any fruit on it, so I'm not going to be 100% sure what it's going to produce. I think that's coming off that one. But on these ones, these buttercup squash, like I said, it's a 16-foot panel. These vines can go 25, 30 feet. As you can see, they have come over the 16-foot panel and are running wild outside the fence, outside the garden. So there's, these, like most vining plants, need a lot of room to run. Because I had been going through and snipping them off between the cattle panel and the corn. And I did have one down in here that got away from me, and it's down in here. So it's been running through the corn, which is fine. Not too worried about it. I am gonna probably cut it off right about there, so it puts more energy into letting this one grow. That's how I set up the cattle panel arches for my garden. That works for me. Hope this helps somebody.